Hey, great to be here. And let's talk about cracking the promotion code to strategically accelerate your brand. So here's the thing about this. I want to focus on this is that we're going to talk about what a person's executive brand is. But before I do, I want to share with you that what I'm going to share with you today is giving you a map, a couple maps actually, to help you understand the value of brand and where it sits to help you get three things: more promotions, more pay, and more power. So with that, let's dive into this. So it's important when we begin to actually give you an operating definition about executive brand. And by the way, I use the term executive brand. This also applies if you're an individual contributor as a professional brand. So either way, the principles are still accurate. And the definition I want to give you to start us off here is that a brand effectively is a simple strategic story of value. That's what we're talking about here, a simple strategic story of value. And when we think about brand relative to its opportunity for your role in your career, there's really kind of three primary areas that I want to point you to that I think are really critical. The first of which is career advancement, right? This may seem obvious given the focus of promotions for the summit, but it's also about helping you to showcase and stand out with your strengths, your expertise, so that you have the visibility that you need for people to see you, to give you the promotions that you need and that are aligned to what's right for you. The second piece is marketability, right? It's important to be seen as a valuable asset to the organization that you're in, so that they think about you for promotions, positions, opportunities, and initiatives that will give you that visibility that you want to get those promotions. And then finally, influence and leadership. And this is about using your reputation, whether you're an individual contributor or a leader, to be able to influence colleagues and your team in insightful ways, and to demonstrate your leadership by taking the initiative with whatever comes your way to be able to harness that for the benefit of the organization. So I want to start off by just kind of going into two primary questions that people tend to get when they're either thought about for promotions or they're being brought in from the outside as a new hire. And whenever people go through that process, these questions pop up. And they're actually not, they are questions, but they're actually assessments. So they're always ongoing about people's performance. And they're worth kind of examining in more depth. The first of which is, can you deliver in the role? That's the first question. Now, this is pointing to one specific thing, which is your strategic business result that you are driving and responsible for at the level that you play. The second question is, are you a good organizational fit? Now, for most people, they think about this thing, go, well, that's about culture. And that's true. But I'm going to add to that a couple things. One of which is it's culture about the next level. You're going for promotions. So it's a culture and a mindset of the next level, whether you're going from an individual contributor to a manager to senior director, VP, whatever level it is, there's a jump there. And it's a mindset shift that's part of a culture of that level of the organization. And also, if you're a leader, this question also has to do with leadership, because for executives, the way that they operate is that they use teams to drive scale within their organizations to achieve that strategic business result. So therefore, it's about both of these issues. So if we look at this now and we kind of break down a model to give you, right? This is part of that map I was talking about at the beginning. We have these key questions that we're playing with, right? These two things here. We also have this value. What value are each of these questions pointing to? Well, the first question is pointing to competence, and the second question is pointing to leadership and culture. And therefore, because of that, they require different stories to communicate within the company for yourself. And so there's different brand types I think about for this. The first of which is about what I call your value brand. And the second piece of it is your leadership brand. And together, these form your executive brand. So this is a way to begin to think about how to tell the stories that make sense for you, to help you begin to articulate what people need to see about your magic and your skills and your expertise and your gifts. So if we go a bit further on this, there's a framework here that can be useful. And this framework is what I call the clarity promotion framework. And what the framework focuses on is, on the x-axis, it's the promotion or hiring process, the timeline, if you will. And the y-axis is the importance of this to the company. And the first piece of it, phase one, is that one question that we asked: can you deliver in the role? Second question is the other question of, are you a good organizational fit? Now, when it comes to the first question, once the company's validated that you're a good fit, the importance of that goes down over time. But what goes up is actually the checking to see if you're a good fit. So if this is a serial focus, right? One question first, the next question. The key is to be able to answer that first question so you get to the second question. And that's what this is to help you think about that, whether you're coming from the outside or you're being promoted, you're constantly being evaluated on these two questions. So to define them, to be specific about this, because that's important in this work for what I do, the value brand's about your strategic what, right? What you do. And the definition is the story of how you deliver on the most important, significant, and strategic business outcome tied to your role. On the other side of the house is the leadership brand. And this is about your strategic how, right? That is the story of how you deliver on the most important, significant, and strategic people outcome that's tied to your role. So these two brand types, if you will, are important because each of these is, back to the initial slide I had, there's a story in there, a story for brand and a story for leadership. So let's talk now about how to unpack these stories and give you a very simple but powerful framework to help build these out. So this is a clarity brand pyramid. Again, very simple, very powerful. Here's how it breaks down. First is value. Then you've got differentiation. And last, you've got proof. So value is the what you do. Differentiation is the how you do it. And proof is the where and when you did do it. So we look at value. Value has three parts to it. The first of which is your audience. Who is it that you're talking to? And I want to make a distinction here between your audience that is a recipient of your work product and the audience that is evaluating your performance. And you're looking for the second one, which is going to be your manager and your manager's manager, people in that chain. They're going to be evaluating you to figure things out, to see how you're doing. And the other piece of it too is you have to see the number two is about the pain, which is what is your audience's top pain? What are they focused on? What is the most important and strategic pain that they're looking at every day that they have to deliver on? Because that's going to be, of course, where you put your attention as well. And then finally, this is back to you with value. And the value piece is about what do you provide that alleviates their pain, right? You want to be focusing on what I call your promise of delivery, right? Every type of promotion or a hire is effectively a futures contract, right? They're making a bet based upon the available evidence you can perform and deliver on some result for whatever role it is you're going for. They're making a bet you can make that happen. And you are too, frankly. And so it's important to be very clear about that bet so you're understanding what's required of you so you can deliver and make it part of your brand and incorporate it for the next level beyond where you're going to go here at this point in time. And then to go a bit deeper on the pain, because that's an important piece to anchor on the pain. You know, the pain, when I work with my clients, I focus on writing out the pain, the lack, the gap, or the deficit that shows up, right? A lack of revenue, a gap in the product portfolio, whatever that might look like. Getting that clear is going to be very powerful. And the other piece of it is that roles exist to solve pains. Whenever you have a role, you're actually solving some pain in the organization. No roles are created just for the heck of it. No CFO is like, that's fine, create a role, it's okay. They're designed to solve pains. And the key for you is that your value is the opposite of the most strategic pain that you solve at your level. Think of a coin, right? On one side is the pain, on the other side is your value. And those two pieces go hand in hand right there. Okay, let's talk about differentiation. This one's a fun one because this one is where people tend to get stuck a lot because it can be a very challenging place. But differentiation is in the middle of the pyramid here. And differentiation, like this rock, has lots and lots of layers, which is where it can get very complicated, or it can seem that way at least, but actually can be very easy. So the key, though, is a sequence of layers in a way that prioritizes what matters most to your audience. You're focusing on them. And you want to make sure that what you're saying and delivering is going to align to what they need to hear and what they need to see from you. And the thing with differentiation is that it's the aggregation of all the differentiation that you have that gives you differentiation. That's one part of it. And sometimes we don't see it because we're so locked into our day-to-day experience and we're so locked into our stuff that we can't step back and get that perspective to recognize what we're actually here to deliver. So, and also what makes us unique and different. So here's a little game, and Nancy, I'd love to get your thoughts about this. So here's a set of perceptions for 19 different value brand differentiators. This is just for value brand. So 19 of them. And my question to you is, which of these is the most strategic? Which of these do you think is the most strategic? What thought will you have?
I am thinking career, either professional purpose or career trajectory.
Okay. Those are both, I love that because both of those are very strategic, but it's not the most strategic when it comes to differentiation. I love those guesses though, because you're definitely thinking. The most strategic one is your approach. When people are hiring you, they're hiring you to deliver some value, and they also want to know how you're going to do it. Otherwise, they're like, we don't know if we believe you. We're not really sure. So approach effectively is your recipe. This is a secret sauce that you bring, and everybody has an approach. Everyone's got one. It's like if you're baking a cake, right? You're looking at the top 3 steps is to distill it out, because look, here's the reality of it. There's so much approach you could talk about. You could talk about it I can talk about my approach for hours and days and weeks. We'd be here all day. But the key thing is, if I just distill out what I did simply to convey to people who wanted to work with me or wanted to hear about me, I could tell you in 3 steps. And then beyond that, you can also detail the how of each step, because there's a power in knowing the precision of your approach. Right? When you look at master craftsmen, they have a very precise approach. They're not guessing or hoping that maybe something will work if they do it. No, they have done it enough times that they have honed their approach that it's precise, clear, and aligned to deliver a specific output, a specific result, whatever that might look like. So for me, for example, my 3 steps are going to be clarity, positioning, and alignment. That's how I do it. Now I got 1 words for mine. You may not have that, and that's okay. But the key thing is that you know what your approach is. I'll give you a quick story for this. One of my clients going for a promotion, and the promotion was for a divisional CFO role. And we did his approach as in preparation. And he went for the promotion, and he interviewed and had all the dialogues. And I asked him after, like, John, how was the interview? What happened? Like, how did it go? He goes, Chris, he goes, I got to tell you, he goes, it was remarkable how aligned their pains were to what I delivered with my approach. He goes, it was like, it was just dialed in. And I said, that's exactly what you want to see. Because when you're in alignment with the right role, the things that you solve with your approach to the value that you're pointing to are the same things that the company is seeking. And that's how you know that there's a good fit. It's happened with another client of mine too. And I've seen it with multiple different experiences, but it's a powerful way to experience this framework. So that is approach. And the last part of the pyramid is proof, which is at the bottom of the pyramid. And proof focuses on, you got it, past evidence of delivered or realized value. This is about your accomplishments in different cases. And the key thing about this is it also demonstrates the impact of your approach. Little vignettes that you give, the impact that showcase what impact you've had. The other piece of it too, I'll share with you one quick story too. One of my clients right now has done a lot of work with global leaders in different geos, you know, over in the EU, in the UK, also in Australia, and also over in Asia. And he's really said, look, he goes, he's working on a white paper for internal purposes to help showcase the work that he's done in a different light to get more engagement from these leaders. Great opportunity. And I can't wait to do more work with him on this. We're going to be meeting here soon. So that's another example where proof can be utilized in that way, in a more active way to showcase and demonstrate what this individual is doing. And finally, with proof, you want to bias on recency and impact. The more recent and impactful your accomplishments or what you're doing with like the white paper, the more powerful it's going to be internally as you showcase it. So there you have it. You have the 3 different steps: value, differentiation, and proof of the Clarity Brown pyramid. Now I got to just pause here because you know what? Like every pyramid, there's a hidden chamber. You got it right here. There's a hidden chamber, and we're going to dive into this. This is actually where what we call the value proposition. And so we're going to dive into the value proposition and unpack this hidden chamber. So with the value prop, it's a 1-sentence summation of your value, is what we're talking about. And the basic equation for this is your promise of delivery, which is your value, plus your high-level approach or your differentiation, right? There's more differentiation, but that's a high-level approach. And to give you mine, to kind of share that, so I'm an executive brand strategist skilled in helping senior and mid-level leaders craft professional brands using my 3-step process of clarity, positioning, and alignment. Now I could choose to just speak the first part of that, or I could also include the whole thing, up to me, but flexibility according to the audience and the venue and what's required. So now you've seen me, but I want to show you one of my clients so you can see it for yourself in a different context. So this is one of my clients for his value brand. We worked on this, and this is what came out. So I'm a high-tech senior vice president of AI skilled in delivering ML-powered robotic systems, architecting scalable data ecosystems, building cutting-edge artificial intelligence, and accelerating simulation testing. Very technical, and for his audience, that's what resonates, because people who want this individual, they want to hear this from him. Now, I want to point something out about this. In this value prop, there are 5 different data points that are locked in. This is a nutrient-dense value proposition. If you're going to nibble on anything, nibble on this. This is going to be healthy for you, healthy for your career, healthy for promotions. So you've got this here. Now let's go down and do leadership brand, right? Same leader, right? And this is what they said. And again, the same thing is covered here, right? The same 5 points, and he can tailor it as he needs to. He might, not use this, might use just the value brand piece, up to him. But you have all these pieces baked into the cake. And then last is you've got one that you have could be combined. And again, these are just different options. The key is that you know the words and you can mix them and match them in ways that fit for the individual that is doing this. So this one here, the first paragraph ties into a combination of both. You could also then do a separate paragraph for just the AI piece. And then also you could do one for just the teams piece and for the leadership piece. So again, different opportunities to play with, but you can see the power of the individual components here put together to give and convey the value in whether it's the value brand or leadership brand to the audience that is required to hear it. Okay. So I want to come back to that initial executive brand definition to kind of give some additional context here. We've done a lot of work so far here. So what it is now is just a conscious realization, your unique, distilled, and simple story comprised of both your strategic business value and your strategic leadership value, the differentiated approaches for each, and both validated by past aligned proof. So this, to me, captures the essence of it. Now, we didn't have any proof in the prior example because we're just showing off the value prop, but you could always layer in proof points if you need to add in and give more heft to whatever you're saying so that you can incorporate the different pieces. So that right there covers the picture and gives you a fulsome definition of that. Now I want to focus on you because this is about helping you achieve these promotions and get more power and get more pay. So for you, a couple of things. One is to become conscious of what you do for both your value brand and your leadership brand. Give some thought to that because these pieces are there and they're happening every day when you are in the office or when you're working with your colleagues, to figure those pieces out and to use the framework of value, differentiation, and proof to be able to articulate that in a way that gives you, that you're building the story out in a way that's compelling and validated and backed up in a way that is right for you. So you have that. And then I have 2 gifts for you that I want to share to help you with that. The first of which is a promotion accelerator blueprint. And this is designed to kickstart your journey to simply, effectively, and powerfully begin telling your value brand story, because that's the one that people like to focus on much more and can really have an impact. I want you to have that, to use that for yourself. And then also I have for you coming soon for the Professional Brand Lab. And this is a fascinating one because this is about a custom AI GPT that's built on the Clarity Silicon Valley knowledge base. And that to me is really exciting. And it's my best thinking from working with hundreds of different leaders and professionals, and you're going to be able to access that and experience that once it launches here soon. So check that out. It's going to be look for the link on that. And then as we wrap up here, I just want to say congratulations because you have now cracked the promotion code. You now know the key pieces to strategically accelerate your executive brand, and you know that it's about the value brand, the leadership brand, breaking these things down into atomic components, and then also looking at the value, differentiation, and proof for each. So you've done that. Congratulations. I'm excited for you. I want your success. And then again, my name is Chris. I craft executive brands, and thank you very much.
Chris, thank you so much for sharing that insightful tip. I actually just learned recently on my marketing journey what value proposition was and how to create that. And so I think it's really good that everybody can start to think about what is their value proposition, especially as they're trying to move the way up the corporate ladder and share those ideas. So thank you very much for being with us today, for sharing these tips, for sharing this insight.
I'm delighted. It's been a pleasure. And again, I mean, at the end of the day, getting clear on the promotion piece is really important. And I'm just delighted to be able to share that.
So all of the links will be below in the show note. Please click below and you will be able to access this and learn more from Chris by going over to his LinkedIn profile and seeing what else he's up to and working with. Cheers and good luck on your promotion.